Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jody from Bird Dog Off-Road Adventures. Today, we're going to install our chase light on the back of our TrailRax roof rack. It's an amber chase light, 30 inches, so should be good. Stay tuned. All right, so here's what all we got prepared for us. We have this KC Universal Wire Hider. We'll show you how this goes on here in a minute. We've already marked it for the cutting. We'll show you that here in just a second too. So we're going to use that to help hide our wires because we're going to run it up the roof. Bought some wiring here. We'll share that with you as well. Put a link to that from Amazon. We also have some shrink wrap here. Got the instructions for the KC holder. Got some solder seals. Some rings, mount our stuff. Got a fuse line here. We have a male, I think you pronounce those Dutch connector. So that'll go into the end of the roof rack, and then that'll go into the end of this wire. We also have our crimpers. We have some 3M tape and alcohol swab that comes with the wire hider, as well as a couple of cutting devices to try to cut this. Now I didn't measure this earlier, and I'll show that how I did that earlier here in just a minute, but we did mark it, and I noticed that the mark is about the halfway point, which is good because that means if I want to run something down the opposite side, I can do so. So see, that's the halfway point, and that's where the mark's at. So that'd be pretty cool. So if you get one of these, just know you got enough in the box to go down both sides of the front windshield. So it's so vertical, it's very short. So just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, we'll get this started. All right, so after we measured it, I want to take this piece here and see if I can cut this. You obviously want to go with the cleanest cutting device you can get. This probably is not the cleanest, but it's going to be close enough. We'll have to go back and trim some off, I'm sure, just to make it look nice. And we'll have to be very discreet how we mount it. So anyway, so we'll toss that to the side. Like I said, we can always use the other side. We do have some markers showing left, so we'll trim that off a little bit here. So we're going to take some of this alcohol wipe that they give us. And I always have a bunch of this on standby anyway. So you're going to take this piece here and see how this has like a U groove in it. So over here is the part that opens up where you tuck your wire in. You'll see this kind of like curved in surface. So I'm going to wipe this off real quick. Get it good and clean. And then we'll go ahead and put some of our 3M tape on there. And that way we'll be ready to just toss it on once we clean the windshield. So we have to clean the windshield first too before we put that on there. Cool. So this should be good and clean by now. So what we're going to do is we're going to line these 3Ms up. And that way it'll be ready to roll as well. So as always, you want to just make sure you're doing this in a way that it's a VHB, by the way, which is pretty darn strong. So one thing I thought of earlier, Broncos and Jeeps for that matter, and even 4Runners. I had the 4Runner, had a couple of windshields go out of it. You break a windshield and they have to replace it, you will have to replace this VHB. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a roll of this stuff on standby when and if that ever happens, because it's pretty much a given with our windshields. But something I just thought of the other day. I was like, yeah, I probably want to keep it on because I've already replaced my windshield at least once. I know some other people, and I think Sally the boy told me she had to replace hers 3 times so far, which stripped the end off of this and made it to this. And then once we run the rest of this wire down the windshield and through the firewall or through the engine compartment, then we'll cut it off as appropriate and start using, there's a red, there is solid and negative inside here. So we'll use the red, we'll do the fuse to one of our connectors, and we'll show you that too here in just a minute. And then from the negative, we'll use the negative to one of these rings, and that will go to ground the system. Should be good. Well, like I said, we use this shrink wrap and these solder seals, which work really good with our trusty heat gun. I got some more heat shrink. This is a little bit bigger, more encompassing kit. Had some more sizes. One thing about when you do this a lot, sometimes you run out. So I'm going to slide this back a little bit, because the idea is that once these are connected, I'm going to, once the solder seals are on and it's all done, the premise is I'll use this, I'll slide this over all of it. Without further ado, we're going to slide this around. We're going to put these over here, just kind of separate those wires a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a professional electrician, so if I'm doing something wrong, just know you could always tell me. I'm open to criticism, as long as it's constructive. Don't be a dick. You know, don't be one of those guys. Nobody likes those guys. All right, so there's one, and then get that good and twisty, and we'll do all these at once. No point in doing one and trying to go back to do the other. As long as you can get both fed in, as long as you can get all that in, it should be interconnected. We are going to try to slide this over. Like I said, if it doesn't go, we can always use the bigger side. Oh, it looks like it's going to go. You have to be careful. You don't want to put too much pressure on that to where it'll push the wires off. Ah, there we go. And then we'll just go over this real quick, and then we'll put the bigger one on too. Okay, so we're going to mount a Chase on the back of our roof rack. This is a LasFit one. I actually won this in one of their giveaways. Even though we are an affiliate and they have given me lots before, I actually got this into a giveaway. I chose the amber, so I wanted to be different. So I'm going to put this right up here on the back of this roof rack. So I did some measurements. Well, first I decided what I want to mount, because it comes with two different types of mounts. It comes with this type of mount, and then it comes with this type of mount. So I chose that one. I did have to use a little rubber shimmy thing that came with the bracket kits for the LasFit. If you can really see it, you know, kind of wedge that in between that, just because it wouldn't go flush all the way without doing that. Use one of the two of the T-slots that came with the rack. So I measured that whole bar, and it was exactly 47 inches from end to end. And the light bar is 22 inches, so I subtracted 22 inches. That left me with 12.75 inches. So I'll put this up here and over here. Ta-da! On both sides, 12.75 inches. So it should fit. And then we're going to put some bolts in the sides here in. And then we should be ready to go. I want to share this with you real quick just so you can see what I'm doing here. This is, let me see if I can get the focus, a regular washer, a lock washer, and then the hex nut that comes with the mounting pack. So you see I went to the second hole up. That way this thing will sit closer to the top of the rack bar instead of a little bit down. That way there's not as much a gap, probably less likely to do it for wind noise. So I'm going to tighten these down, get this same position like I want it, and then we'll be done. All right, so we got these tightened on, and they're good. Symmetrical. I mean, if you really wanted to be OCD, you could probably shave the bottom of this little lever off. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not going to be that bad noticeable. Sorry for the background noise. All right, so what we're going to do, we got a silver permanent marker here, so we can mark it. We have some stuff that we might need to cut it with. We'll see how it looks. If nothing else we can mark it, we can always take it back aside. Anyway, you want to line this up to get the desired length that you're going to use, because you're not going to, especially with a Bronco windshield, you're probably not going to use, we'll say right there, that right there. You're probably not going to use the entire length. As a matter of fact, I know you're not going to use the entire length, but that way you can kind of get an idea how far up this is going to go. Now, there are multiple ways to put this on here. You can put the opening facing this way, which is the way we lined it up, or you can turn it possibly this way to where the wire would be facing out. I'm not sure why you want to do that, maybe, but I guess some people might get people to try to arbitrarily get into your shit. So I don't know. But anyway, so I mean, yeah, you could do it that way if you want to. I'm not going to do it that way. I want to do it the way with the opening facing that way. That way, people that walk by won't see the huge discrepancies in the windshield, or at least they won't notice them. And then we'll go from there. All right. So a little bit more. We're going to cut this, and then we'll come back out here after we clean this off. We'll put our 3M on the back side, the channel, and then we're ready to go. Then we just some things we use to run the cable on the rack. I don't know if you guys can really see it or not, but the cord is routed over and under. Routed over and under each bar, all the way up to the front. And you can probably see the cord if you look hard enough. I know it blends in with the roof rack. And then over here, now I'm going to clean this front part up a little bit here soon. I just want to make sure I don't get it to work. But yeah, that's how I did it under there. I did it with the little hose clamps and T-slots on the other side. You could probably go on the top side if you want to just zip tie it and make it quick and easy and just don't care about the way it looks. So as you can see here, get some other clips here. The C-clamp thing I was telling you about. Got it running down the side there. I don't know if you can see that or not. As you can see here, you can't really see the cord when you're standing down here. You can see it a little bit right there. You can definitely see it right here. But like I said, I'm going to clean that up just a little bit. I'm going to move that over to this side, get it flush with the rack. But for just intents and purposes now, just want to show it to you guys. As you can see here, we got it run out from here into the KC lights holder all the way down. And then once it's down, we have it tucked in. Move this mirror out of the way. Have it tucked in. You probably can't see it, but we have it tucked into where it runs that little crack right there. So yeah, the KC lights holder, it sticks out a little bit, but it's not really that noticeable, to be honest with you. It just looks like a piece of weather stripping. But looks pretty good if you ask me. Well, as always, we hope you like and enjoy this video. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We got a lot more stuff to come in the near future, so hope you'll be along for the ride. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.